What's up, YouTube? Declan Games here. Skylanders was a very big and popular video game series from the 2010s. It being a game with such a large community, people are guaranteed to have different opinions on parts of it. Today, I'll be ranking the 6 main Skylanders games. This means I will not be including any spin-offs or mobile games. This ranking will be based on how fun the games are, how memorable I find them, levels, playable characters, etc. With all that said, let's start the ranking. Number 6. Superchargers. My main issue with Superchargers is the same as pretty much everyone else. The vehicles. The main gimmick of Superchargers ended up being the worst part about it. Sure, the vehicles sound cool in theory, but they ended up being very difficult to control and having very boring sections in the game. I think the only time I actually enjoy using them is when racing and in the darkness fight. That, honestly, is pretty much my only issue with the game. Though it is that big of an issue that it results in this being probably the least enjoyable game. That doesn't mean I don't enjoy other parts of it though. This game has some very fun levels like the Cloud Kingdom, Captain Cluck's Chicken HQ, and Vault of the Ancients. This game also has one of my favorite roster of playable characters. I don't think there is a single one that I don't like or find fun to use, except Bone Bash Rollerball. And that's because I think the Undead Repo Supercharger should have been Chop Chop, not Roller Brawl. And then the Darkness, despite being a vehicle boss, is one of my favorite boss fights in the series. Now let's move on to number 5, Giants. Giants may have been my first Skylanders game, but that doesn't give it any brownie points. I don't know what it is, but I just don't find this game as enjoyable as the others. It's still very fun, I just prefer the others. The Giants are very cool, and I do like the plot of how Chaos returns and seeks out the Iron Fist of Arcus to rule an army of ancient evil robots. But the Giants, though, don't even really live up to their name. They're meant to be the biggest Skylanders when they're actually quite small. They're bigger than everything before, but they are the same size or smaller than the Trapmasters, the Senseis, and even some of the Swap Force and Superchargers. There are some very fun levels in this game, though, like Rumbletown, Willikin Village, and Drillex's Big Rig. Drillx is also amazing. Just want to say that. I mean, he sings. What more could you ever ask for? Next up is number 4, Spyro's Adventure. The original game is also kind of the midpoint of them all. This is the game that started the series and the Toys to Life genre, and they did a very good job of introducing this game and these characters. Not to mention a great plot. Chaos destroys the core of light, and you need to gather all the pieces and eternal elemental sources to repair it. And believe me, this game has some banger levels. You got Leviathan Lagoon, Treetop Terrace, Quicksilver Vault, and more. This is a great game and a great beginning to a great series. Before the next game, I will ask that if you have been enjoying this video, consider leaving a like and subscribe as it'll help grow my channel. Now for number 3, Imaginators. Imaginators is the 6th and final game in the series. It also has one of the coolest and most creative gimmicks, creating your own Skylanders. Using the new toy type called the Creation Crystal, you can create your own Skylander. You start by choosing one of 10 battle classes, those being Sorcerer, Bowslinger, Quickshot, Swashbuckler, Bazooker, Brawler, Smasher, Ninja, Sentinel, and Knight. Then from there, you have complete freedom to make what you want. You get to build your Skylander and choose all the parts for it, from the body to the gear to the catchphrase, all from a huge list of options. It's a very fun and very cool mechanic. The Senseis are another new type of Skylander, and their purpose and backstory is that they train new Skylanders, specifically the Imaginators. And I find the Senseis and their backstory to be very cool. They're also quite fun to use. The only problem I do have with this game is that it is much shorter than the others. The main story only has 10 levels, with 10 mini levels, and 5 sold separately, and these might actually be my least favorite group of levels. But that doesn't make them bad. Mushroom River, Dragon Temple, and Thumpin' Whoopa Islands are pretty fun, they're just not my favorite. Time for number 2, Trap Team. Game number 4 is definitely one of the best. Just ask the Skylanders community, as this was voted the community favorite. To me, it always felt like the last game that followed the same formula as the others. It did make some changes, but none were as drastic as the following years, except for the introduction of the light and dark elements. The gimmick of this game is pretty cool. You get to defeat, capture, and play as villains. That includes the big bad of Skylanders, Chaos. In order to trap the villains, you need help from the Trap Masters, with their crystal weapons and traps made of the same crystals called Traptanium. The Trap Masters are probably my favorite of the gimmick weapons. Their weapons are so cool and none of them are the same. Snapshot has a bow and arrow, Wildfire has a shield, Nightlight has a scimitar, Gusto has a boomerang, and more. The levels in this game are also very good. Soda Springs, Chompy Mountain, and Phoenix Sanctuary, just to name a few. And don't even get me started on the boss fights. Ignoring all the mini-bosses, this game has some of the best fights. Chompy Mage, Wolfgang, and Golden Queen are very good, and the Chaos fight in this game is by far the best fight in the series. Just look at this dude! Just don't play it on the Wii. Trap Team is amazing, and in my opinion, there is only one game that can top it. That being number 1, Swap Force. Skylanders Swap Force is my favorite game in the series and one of my favorite games of all time. Where do I begin? The characters are good, the plot is great, the setting is cool, the levels are fun, and the game looks and plays amazing. The gimmick for this game is that for a few Skylanders you can swap their top and bottom halves to combine their powers and names. If you combine Hoot Loop and Free Ranger, you'll create Hoot Ranger and Free Loop. This is easily my favorite roster of playable characters. You got swappers like Blast Zone, Stink Bomb, and Spyro, cores like Scratch, Scorp, and Grim Creeper. They even brought back 3 of the Forgotten 8 from Spyro's Adventure, with Light Core Whamshell and Warnado and Thornhorn Camo. The levels in this game are also so fun to play. Mudwater Hollow, Rampart Ruins, and Motleyville are some of the best. The only problem with most of the levels is that they're about twice as long as they need to be, and while that is a negative for most people, I really don't mind because these levels are just so fun to play. There's also some fun boss fights like the Fire Viper, Mesmerelda, the Chaos fight is by far the weirdest yet most creative. I honestly just can't find enough good things to say about this game. It's just so fun. But like Trap Team, don't play it on the Wii or else you will hate the game and yourself. And that wraps up this video. Let me know your opinions down in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, remember to drop a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.